Hello friends, welcome back to another 8 days of Halloween Tumbler tutorial. In this video, we're going to do a kind of like coquette girly bow peekaboo tumbler. So starting right off, we're going to jump right into the peekaboo. I'm using a tumbler that I glittered a long time ago, and it's just been sitting on my shelf with no direction really. And then when I came up with the idea for this design, I thought, wow, that would be the perfect cup to use for that. So my cup has been glittered with black glitter, and then I added in a little bit of Athena from Peachy Olive Glitters into my top layer of epoxy to give that black glitter a little bit of extra sparkle. So that's what you'll see here in just a minute. You could use any color glitter underneath your peekaboo, really, it doesn't matter. But the bows I'm going to use later in this design are black and white, so the black glitter was the perfect tie-in for this. So starting with my peekaboo, I've got my decal here that says "Bad to the Bow" that I hand lettered, so I will put that in my Etsy shop if you want to grab it, or if you want to join my Elite Fam Patreon group. You'll get this file for free along with a bunch of other files for free in October, and you'll get an exclusive tutorial that kind of ties in with this design as well. So if you want to join the Elite Fam and get a whole bunch of fun extra content and things from me, you can check that out at patreon.com/elitefam. Anyway, back to the peekaboo. So I put my bow decal on one side of the tumbler, and now I'm going to take these bats that I cut out in 3 different sizes, and I'm just going to place them randomly all over the cup. I am going to add some bows later, like I said, so I don't want to cover up the entire surface area of the cup with bats. I just want to add a few in so that we can show as much of this glitter as possible, but I'm not going to overload the design with bats because we've got a few other things we're going to add on top of the peekaboo later. Once I had the stencils applied, I spray painted my cup with a quick coat of white spray paint from Rust-Oleum, and once that was dry, I was ready to go in with my second coat of paint. And for this coat, I'm actually going to use acrylic paint because it was raining outside, so I am using 2 different types of white paint on this tumbler, which is totally fine. You can use whatever sort of paint you are most comfortable with. So I'm going to go over this with just the plain paint, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll go in and do our glitter over our peekaboo. So 2 coats of paint, and then we'll move on. I'm using the epoxy method to apply my glitter, and the glitter I'm using is Coconut from Chase Rae Creations. This is my new favorite white. It is so perfect and beautiful. So before I apply the glitter, obviously I'm going to apply my epoxy, and I'm using about, I don't know, like 3-ish milliliters. I probably put a little bit too much on this cup. Typically I like to use maybe 1 to 2 milliliters for epoxy method, but I just had the extra left over in my cup, so I put it all on this tumbler. You just want to make sure that you spread a nice even thin layer all over your cup, and you don't have any spots that are too gloopy or are going to drip later or anything like that. So once I had the epoxy applied to the tumbler, I'm going to go in and cover the entire thing with my glitter. Now you'll notice I didn't do one thing that I typically always do when I do a glitter peekaboo like this. I didn't mark off any of my stencils. So typically what I would do is take a Sharpie or a paint pen or something and mark all of my stencil vinyl so that I can see it underneath my white glitter. This gave me a heck of a time, I will tell you. So you can barely see in person. I don't think you can see at all on camera. You can barely see where the stencils are if you don't mark them. So I was kind of like digging around with my pin pen, trying to see if I could feel a stencil, trying to remember where I put them on the cup. This was a time. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend to not forget to mark your vinyl before you go in to peel up your peekaboo, or before you go in to even do your peekaboo. It will make your life a billion times easier, I promise. Once this epoxy is cured, we're going to go right into an actual coat of epoxy. Now, I didn't seal this glitter and it moved all up into the black glitter, which is kind of what I wanted. I wanted to give that black glitter a little bit of extra sparkle. Even though I put that Athena into my epoxy when I first glittered the cup, I wanted to give it a little bit of extra something. So I just let that coconut glitter move into the black spots, which gave it a little bit more sparkle. But of course, if you don't want that to happen, you can seal your glitter just with like clear gloss spray or something to make sure that the glitter doesn't move into your peekaboo sections. But in this case, I wanted that to happen. So after this coat of epoxy, I needed to do a little bit of sanding. And at this point, my cup was getting a little thick and she was getting a little too heavy. So I wanted to avoid sanding down my cup, adding another coat of epoxy, and then adding all of my clear decals. So what I decided to try out on this tumbler is sanding down the tumbler to smooth it out, and then adding a coat of Mod Podge with a glossy finish to see if that would help shine the tumbler back up again, and then I could put my clear decals on top of that without having to add a whole nother coat of epoxy to shine the cup up before putting my clear decals down. Because as you guys know, I'm always harping on you have to have a smooth, shiny surface before you put any sort of clear anything on your tumbler. So I wanted to try this technique out because I've never done this before. I always just add another coat of epoxy, but I wasn't really able to do that on this tumbler. So I wanted to try this and it actually worked out really well. I'm not the hugest fan of Mod Podge. I feel like I'm kind of warming up to it more lately because it dries quick and I can do things like this with it that I know now. So if you're in a bind or if you are having a little bit of heaviness issue with your cup like I was here, you can sand your cup down so it's smooth and then add your glossy finish Mod Podge to shine the surface up again, and then you can add your clear decals over the Mod Podge without having to do another coat of epoxy. You could probably also spray your cup with clear gloss spray, but I wasn't going outside with the weather that we were having, so the Mod Podge worked out great. After letting the Mod Podge dry for about an hour, this is what the cup looks like. So you can see she's nice and smooth and shiny. So now we can add all of our clear decals. I'm printing out my decals on my favorite clear sticker paper. This is the Avery 4397 clear sticker paper. You can get this on Amazon, which is where I get it, or you can get it, I think they have it at Walmart. So I printed out my cute little jack-o'-lantern with her bow on, and that's what I'm going to put on the opposite side of the tumbler, opposite where our peekaboo quote is. And then I also cut out some different patterned black and white bows, and I'm going to cut those out by hand and just place them all over the tumbler, trying to fill in as much space as I can while still making it make sense, you know? I don't want just like random bows all over the place, but I also want the tumbler to be full and really go with the bow theme. So we're kind of just striking a little bit of a balance here. After all of these decals are applied, I'm going to add another thin coat of epoxy to my tumbler. I'm talking maybe like 10 milliliters, like super duper thin, because I want to add a little bit more glitter to my design. So I'm taking Clementine from Chase Ray Creations, which is a really pretty bright orange, chunky multi-mix glitter. And I want to put that into a little bit of epoxy and spread that into some of the blank areas of our tumbler. So after I've got my plain epoxy on my tumbler, I'm gonna let it spin for maybe about 10-ish minutes just to level out a little bit. And then I'm gonna go in and add these little tiny bits of orange glitter just really into the blank spots of the tumbler and then a little bit onto what we've got in our design so far. And honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this. I probably could have skipped this step because I think that this didn't really add what I was hoping it would add. I wanted to bring a little bit more orange out into the design because we've got that jack-o'-lantern on the cup, and I wanted it to like tie that orange in, but maybe I didn't pick the right color glitter, or maybe I should have added something in vinyl that was orange. I don't know. I feel like the extra glitter didn't really add much to this design. And for me, that's a lot to say because I always think that you would need to add more glitter to things. But anyway, it's okay. I think the design turned out really cute. After that coat of epoxy, I added my final coat of epoxy. So that's it for this design. This is the final result. I do like how it turned out, but again, I think that extra glitter maybe wasn't necessary. I could have added something else to tie in that orange, but oh well, we all learn. Maybe I'll revise this design and do something else. I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Maybe it inspires you to create something of your very own. If you did enjoy the video, please let me know in the comments. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my new videos. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Okay, love you. Bye. Hello friends, thanks so much for watching this video. I want to say a huge special thank you to my elite fam, my channel members, and my subscribers. You all make this channel possible, so thank you so much for being part of the fam. If you want more exclusive content from me, you can join my elite fam at patreon.com/elitefam. You can find my tumblers and digital files on my website, madebymalstudio.com. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at madebymal_studio. Here's another video for you to check out, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Love you. Bye.